of the company, Rohit Chan is our CTO, Otin Chan is our research scientist. We also have Otin as our scientific advisor. Sulfuron will provide batteries for EV manufacturers and battery manufacturers with our patented silicon and sulfur cathode with 50% capacity increase and 10% cost reduction. Also, longer battery life, safer chemistry, and faster charging speeds compared to others. We have a total of 13 interviews. So in lithium batteries, people usually have electrodes made of rare metals and graphites, and also electrolytes. While Sulfuron puts sulfur and silicon in the electrodes. By doing that, we can provide much higher battery capacity, lower cost, and safer battery chemistry. So we had 3 new interviews this week, but I'd like to summarize and what we learned and what we gained in terms of insights over the weeks. So initially, we thought the customers only care about the battery life and the cost. But then turns out there's several other things we need to consider, such as battery life, safety, and charging speed. That's why we reevaluate the hypothesis. Also, as we learned from the interviews, 50% to 20% capacity is already practically enough for the customers. So we want to rethink, should we keep, pursue 50% capacity other than other battery parameters? Also, we have mixed input on the cost. So we'll dig deeper into the cost in terms of how important it is to the customers. So our customers are electric vehicle manufacturers, and they're very closely aligned with battery manufacturers. So we will sell batteries to both. The influencers are end users, regulators, and national labs. Potential competitors and developers are conventional and new battery manufacturers. As you may know, lithium battery is probably the largest or fastest growing market on the planet. Although we have other channels to sell our batteries, we focus on the EV battery market because it has the largest user numbers in terms of lithium-ion batteries. We want to provide batteries to luxury EV car segment because they are less cost sensitive and they always want to bring the longest driving range for the customer. When we compare our battery with traditional lithium batteries or some new players such as sodium-ion batteries, our technology is superior in terms of providing the longest EV range, safer chemistry, and cost reduction. So for us to be successful, we want to build our own batteries to put in EVs and test the performance. So we built this business plan around a pilot line and small scale production line. Once we have the production line, we will generate interest. So we can decide either to expand our production or cooperate with others. Okay. So again, we help EV and battery manufacturers to make better batteries with larger capacity, safer chemistry, cost reduction, and faster charging time. The customer will be R&D head of EV battery division. Okay. So we believe we already our value proposition has been reinforced. So we want to move forward. And we discovered some new value propositions along the way. So we want to reevaluate that on our products. We'll initiate fundraising so we can have enough money to build prototype batteries to put in EVs and to demonstrate to customers. Lastly, we want to find customers and make deals. Okay. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Any questions?
Yes, Brian.
So those numbers of 10% cost reduction, 50% capacity increase, and the life cycle increase, has that been proven? Is the technology there?
Yeah, they're all patented, and we have all the battery test data.
So you've tested a car auto battery, and it can do all of that.
So we're making the box cell, individual battery cell. So it's from a single battery, but we don't have the capability to test in a battery pack. So that's the next step. Yeah.
Okay. And then for your market, your TAM, SAM, and SOM, you looked at batteries. You're here. You talk about that you're going to be providing the materials as well. So are you focusing just on providing batteries now?
So we'll provide batteries to the customers. Material is the first step. We have to use our own materials to make the battery. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good then.
Yes, Michael. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep on hogging things, but good job, Yi, by the way. Thank you. And good to see you again. I was actually intrigued by the third lesson that you had slided, which is not at all surprising that those who buy the Teslas do not want to pay any more if you provide a better quality battery. That being understood and accepted, did that in any way affect your business model or your sales strategy in any way?
The cost,
Well, they don't want to pay more for faster charging speed of 80% and so forth, or the enhanced mile wage and so forth, which to me, I understand that. I mean, they're already paying a lot of money for this Tesla Y. So that being noted, did you have to change your contemplated business model or your sales strategy in any way? Or do you think that you will?
I don't think we need to change anything because you see, when $10,000 increase would be like 10% cost on the battery, and we're already providing 10% cost reduction. So, but also we can provide 50% capacity. That means less material battery is used in the car. So those add up, definitely can be the customer need or the end users.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I ask one question? So, I'm to follow up what Brian talked about. You have demonstrated in point cells of power cells,
Yes.
these capabilities of the material, right? And that's a pair. When I look at a ceramic electrolyte, usually ceramic electrolytes are highly resistant, and for a car you need high power and high energy, so you have the acceleration. Tell me more about the step, right? Because you're saying we're going to be manufacturing batteries.
Right.
So tell me about this challenge with the electrolyte compared to the regular electrolyte that is not suitable for high power.
Sure. Yeah. So actually, the ceramic electrolyte is part of or kind of the solid state electrolyte. People have less, power output from a solid state battery is mainly because of the manufacturing process. Right here, we choose the sulfide electrolyte, which has the highest ionic connectivity. So, and also we incorporated hot press, all the advanced manufacturing process, so we can achieve or go above compared to traditional liquid electrolytes.
So for the next step, I think is a little bit very important for you to go from a point cell or a power cell environment to something that is really more realistic, because those numbers are
Gonna decrease, yeah.
exactly.
Actually, the 50% is reserved number. I mean, it's actually times higher, 3 times higher. But we want to be covered here, yeah.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Vivian, what comes to mind when I say farming? Land, acre, space. It may surprise you to know that the face of farming is changing. It's moving indoors in order to utilize water, space, and resources more efficiently. So who are we? We're SuperSprout, a high-performance plant stimulant for indoor farming. My name is Gloria, I'm a biochemist. Tom is our team lead and our founder, and Rosnali is our business and marketing consultant. Our proprietary product will improve quality and yield. This will increase productivity by 25% and lead to production of more profits. This is an example of what our product can do. So at the top, you can see tomatoes, and at the bottom, you see lettuce here. So us, SuperSprouts, I mentioned, is a performance plant stimulant, will enhance the productivity of farming crops such as cannabis, tomato, and lettuce. So how does it do that? It will increase the plant germination, the growth rates, and this all leads to the reduction of operation costs. And lastly, it's made from inexpensive proprietary ingredients that will degrade that are biodegradable. We conducted 12 interviews where we tested the hypothesis that if our product improves vigor, health, and quality, would that lead to the increased profits of sales? So some of the insights that we gained was that quality is the most important thing for these indoor farmers, yet yield was still a major consideration. Some of the learnings that we gathered was that we needed to emphasize the multi-functionality of our product, and that organic is not necessary, but it's still a possibility as long as we obtain certification. We also learned that the reduction of operation costs is a huge incentive. And lastly, that with our product, it can lead to the reduction of GMOs. Our next steps are to conduct more interviews, keep conducting research, widen our hypothesis, continue to test it and refine it, and lastly, focus on all indoor farming companies. So for our ecosystem map, we are focusing on purchasing from these indoor farming facilities via influencers such as the FDA or the United States Agricultural Department. Some of our competitors might be pesticide or fertilizer developers. Some of our saboteurs would be the United Farm Workers or farm and field laborers, as indoor farming eliminates their jobs. But our goal is to have these indoor farmers become repeat customers and engage in repeat business with us. When it comes to the market size for indoor agricultural chemicals, globally, we're looking at a TAM of 8.1 billion, a SAM of 1.5 billion, and within California, our SAM is about $245 million. So when it comes to our competitors, they tend to fall short. We're the only ones who can growth, yield, we enhance the microbial suppression. We also have a low complexity. We can be compatible with organic farming, and that we have an overall enhanced appearance with our product, making us very competitive. For our commercialization plan, it's a 6-year plan, it's considerably under $10 million. Over the next few years, we plan to do more research and acquire more funding, of course, try to get some FDA approval, organic certification, and then moving on to strategic partnerships, and then sales, manufacturing, and then expanding nationally or globally. Our customers, again, are indoor farming facilities, and our value proposition is that we increase the productivity by 25%, increasing profits, and we improve quality as well. Indoor farming is new, but it's growing, and it's creating a demand for our product. Thank you for your time.
Oh, there's Steve.
Have you had a chance yet to test on taste and on retention of nutrients? As you look at the other qualities you've been engaging as well.
I haven't tasted it yet, but nutrient wise, I think it's doing better. We're currently working on that, so we're looking at the samples right
Um, so going into this, did you look at both indoor and outdoor, and then part of the customer discovery was indoor? Or did you just start from indoor, and then why the indoor one?
Well, additionally, other people had worked on this before, and they wanted to focus more on indoor because they thought it worked better under controlled conditions. I'm starting to see that that may not necessarily be the case, and it is applicable, but still exploring those parameters.
Hey, Gloria, you mentioned animal testing, and I believe in 2025. What do you need to test animals for? What are you trying to accomplish there?
Just want to make sure that it's safe to consume. So with FDA approval, where they look at 51% of no adverse effects or side effects or harmful or any type of like downsides.
Safety. Okay.
Yeah, safety mostly.
Got it. That's right.
So real quick, Gloria, good presentation by the way. So what have you demonstrated today so far? Have you demonstrated 25% increase in?
Yes.
So tell me more about in what crops or what have you seen?
So it was tested in an indoor vertical farming facility with cannabis, and it increased their product by 25%. So that's their production. So with their cost, it's way more than the 25% because they can sell it for a lot more depending on the quality. For them, quality is very important, which we saw was important for a lot of other people. What I found that it's different for other products, so it works differently, it's actually a lot more lucrative in tomatoes, but it needs to be adjusted for lettuce in order to function properly. So it just matters on how it's used and how it's applied, but I believe that it is versatile.
Thank you very much, Laura, for your great presentation. Okay, so.
By the way, InstaMeet is the team that had the most interviews in his cohort. So congratulations on that.
Hi, I'm Devinder,
My name is Dion Javi.
and we are the co-founders of InstaMeet. So I would like to start by asking a few questions. Have you ever been in a situation where you are attending a networking event like this, hoping to have meaningful conversations, but you ended up talking to the same people you already know? Or maybe you missed out on opportunities because you didn't know the right people to talk to. Or maybe you didn't start the conversation thinking that the other person might not be interested in it. Here's where InstaMeet comes in. We are an AI-powered mobile app for university students to identify the people around and have an instant meetup based on the real-time interest. Hence, saving them time and making their networking more meaningful. Let me give you an example to understand. For example, we are all here to attend this networking event. What if some person make a hotspot named as entrepreneurship? Since we all are interested in entrepreneurship, we might join that hotspot, and there we can see all the profile of people who are here, who have joined it, and we can actually send them the message request for an instant meetup. For the customer discovery, we have conducted 20 interviews with university students and 8 interviews with the professors in UCR to test our hypothesis that if an app can help college students to have an immediate in-person engagement, then they'll be ready to pay a premium amount for it. 3 learnings. Firstly, university students were interested in this kind of proposition, and they were ready to pay an average of $5 per event basis. Secondly, professors were interested to they want to encourage networking among students. And thirdly, there is some scope for InstaMeet in the B2B segment as well. Our end user and economic buyer will be the university students. Our influencers are university students, professors, student organization leads, and career development center officials. Our competitors are other networking platforms, including Blue Social, Shaper, Meetup, and Bumblebee. Our saboteurs are dissatisfied users and less tech-savvy people. The TAM for us is $5.4 billion with university students globally. We have a SAM of $60 million with university students in California and a SOM of $6.4 million with university students in the UC system. The main differentiator for InstaMeet compared to all other competitors is we are facilitating instant connection based on real-time common interest. Currently, we are in the customer discovery and MVP design phase. We are hoping to complete the development by June end. Post that, we'll be testing our product in UCR itself. And once the testing is done, we are planning to launch in all other UCs by January 2024. And for this, we need 150K in financial need so as to acquire all the users from UC system. Our value is we are providing meaningful networking based on the comprehensive user profile and real-time interest. Secondly, we are helping the users to save their time from days to mere minutes for a meetup. And we are targeting university students who are actually facing difficulty in identifying the people and starting the conversation. Our next steps are will be designing the MVP and completing the development so as to do the MVP launch. Secondly, we'll be digging much deeper on the B2B segment, which was one of the insights that we collected from the interview. And lastly, we'll be attending the Boom program by NSF. Thank you.
Thanks. Where does the AI come into play?
Yeah, so the AI will be used for the matching purpose.
So they would have to create an account and have to set up a profile to to be able to kind of have the AI match people?
For the ease of use, what we are doing is once you are onboarded on InstaMeet, we'll be fetching all your information from your LinkedIn profile. And once you enter into one of the hotspots that you're interested in, you will be matched with all the people who have joined the hotspot, and the ones who are closest to you will be recommended using it.
And the hotspot is a physical proximity of where you are, or is it just?
Yeah, based on physical proximity, there can be any number of hotspots. We don't want people to talk to each other just based on the profile matching. We want them to engage with on the basis of real-time interest. So for that, we are keeping it very open to you that which hotspot you want to enter, and post that within that, we are using the technology for the most relevant match.
For your market size, this is the amount of money being spent on what?
So most of the money will be going into the specifically partnerships.
I'm talking about this market size. What are customers currently spending money on? Is it on apps? Or is it on social events? What does this represent? Annual revenue of what per paying user?
So all the customers on InstaMeet will be paying on a per event basis, and they'll be paying for buying the premium subscription of InstaMeet for that particular event, so that they are able to join the hotspot, they are able to create the hotspot.
So it's a bottom-up model.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Andrew, how much did you say in that one slide that you were intending to spend in that business development slide?
Which one, sorry, I didn't get.
In the 5-year business development or corporate development slide. 20,000, 90,000, 10,000, so on. Let's see my math, $120,000.
Yeah.
You'll burn through that by next Tuesday.
Next.
Yeah, you might want to reconsider how much it's going to take.
Yeah, I had a discussion with Scott as well. He also recommended the same thing. But the point is, like, right now, we don't have much credibility for us to raise a good amount of investment. So for the initial part, what we want to do is we want to generate revenue by spending as less as possible. And using that credibility will be going for the higher rounds. So for that purpose, what we are trying to do is we are trying to partner up with professors, with like anything that we can do to onboard the users organically. And using those revenue as our statistics will be going for further fundraising.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Many of you may be aware that we started a new medical school 10 years ago. What you're not aware of is that that's a community-based model, which means that we don't have a medical center. We partner with over 100 different community-based centers, both hospitals and clinics. The issue here is that what you'll find is that those partners are literally focused on primary care, working with underserved communities to address conditions that are chronic in our community. So they rely heavily upon data collection and use, primarily for their revenue generation through billing and reimbursements. So there's a problem there both with data collection and use, and we're the solution. We measure through an electronic survey platform and smiley faces patient health, and actually increase now data use by as much as 50%. Our team, Medi-Mo-GIS, is comprised of myself, Kendrick Davis Jr. or KJ, and Margarita Monge. We came together with this initial passion for working for the medical school and helping our community, and have arrived upon something that might be of use to our community further. So as we started, we had a hypothesis. We hypothesized that in fact, if literally CMOs, and I hate to use acronyms, we use it a lot, so chief medical officers adopt our technology, both in terms of survey and of course analysis, then it'll increase both survey response rates by 20% and use of data by 50%. This week, we've actually had 7 interviews for a total of 17 over the course of the program, and we've learned some very new, interesting insights. Initially, we've learned that Press Ganey is literally the company that has a monopoly on measuring patient experience. If there are 29 items surveyed, it's 3 pages, it's too long. And then that, of course, it's expensive to purchase that survey package it's staff heavy and intensive, and then of course, it's intensive on literacy. We also learned that public hospitals, both county and community-based hospitals and clinics, rely heavily upon this data more than anyone else. And therefore, it becomes a problem if they're not supported because, of course, they're understaffed and under-resourced. So here is our insight game. We offer a solution to CMOs that's brief. It's specific to hospital units, specialties, and hospital environments, details that directly taps into patients' emotions and feelings about their healthcare experiences. So our ecosystem is comprised of, and you can kind of see the color coding scheme, influencers or quality and safety patient officers at the clinics that we work with in hospitals. The primary decision maker is your chief medical officer. Your saboteurs are literally now your older generation, both in terms of clinicians and in terms of your patients who are not as tech savvy. Your competitors are existing survey companies. And of course, what we're trying to do is get the economic buyers like CEOs and CFOs to see the value of our product. So our TAM, SAM, and SOM were actually generated by looking at both discharge rates from hospitals and then patient rates when it comes to inpatient care. And so what gave rise to our estimates were halving those totals, which gets us at a $1.6 billion market across the nation, $246 million market within the state, and then in Southern California, an $82 million market. So our benefits are universal appeal in that literally in terms of basing our measurement system off something that anyone can interpret allows anyone to use it. And right now, many of the surveys that are being utilized are language-based. Meanwhile, we have accuracy of data because that bias gives rise to very skewed data that's being utilized thus far. We also capture emotions that are critical to a health experience. And so over the next 3 years, we have a non-dilutive plan in order to gain funding for our program that estimates around $380,000, where we're actually validating our scales, validating the unicoded approach, which means that it can be used on every device and in any language. And then ensuring that toward the end, we're getting more dilutive funding because of course, then we'll be bringing the GIS into bear on our technology. And so our next steps are to complete and submit an IRB. What this experience has taught us is that there's so much to learn from our customer segment. And even though we're still in the right space, it's going to be really useful to gain more interviews and really get a sense of what we're doing. To attend NSF I-Core programs in the future, and then to work with HCAPS, and that actually stands for Hospital Customer Assessment and Healthcare Providers and Systems. They're the governing body with, of course, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality that ensures now that whatever we're measuring for health is something that's been approved by the federal government. And so our value proposition, has been that our Medi-Mo-GIS-based surveying and technology will increase, of course, response rates by 20%, but most importantly, data use by 50%. So let me be very clear. Most data is used primarily for mandatory reporting. Very few places actually do quality improvement of healthcare and then research as well. And those two things are invaluable to, of course, healthcare systems. And so our chief medical officer has been the primary customer segment. Thank you for the interview. Questions, please, sorry.
What does the GIS stand for in your name?
Geospatial Information Systems measuring. So we're using GIS mapping, right? What ends up happening is the data that we're collecting can be mapped to resources in the community, whether it's a closed community like a university or a city. And those healthcare resources are distributed, of course, geographically.
And then the market, the TAM, SAM, and SOM, is that how much hospitals are using for collecting survey research currently?
Yes, sir. Both for inpatient and primarily for discharge patients, that's it for now. And so it's other things that haven't been included in terms of the things that are measured that hospitals use that are mandatory for reporting right now. It's primarily for patient experience, and it comes out of those two things. Questions? Yes, sir.
Thank you for a great presentation. A couple of quick questions. One is, what kind of protection is there about the technology or the code? Are you able to have any patentability here?
That's a great question. Right now, there's a few different steps. So there's something called a FVAS generator. It's an emoji-based visual analog scale generator electronically. I know the founder of the company who created the technology. What we've designed takes that 2 steps further. So what we're working with that company on is tech transfer, and of course, working with our mentor Jay as well, because that's uncharted waters for us. So right now, what I did is I wrote up the design from the research years ago. I've been working with the company to see where what I'm doing and where his design, his model fits, his technology fits. So I know I have something beyond what exists right there at the present, but no, we haven't gone any further with this.
I think you hit right on the nose working with quality people on this. So that's great. I'm sitting here thinking, boy, wouldn't this be a great tool for air quality reporting or water quality reporting? And so you may have a platform that you can, extend.
That was genius. I so appreciate it. Look, I gotta tell you all, I love this program and I've learned so much, and as a nerdy professor, I'm soaking it up like a sponge. I so appreciate it. Other questions?
I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know that I've heard this presentation multiple times, but I still struggle with this, the problem that we're trying to solve.
Yes, ma'am.
It's the problem that when the patient gets discharged, they do not answer the surveys. And so this is a way to actually get greater compliance.
Yes, initially, yes. So most of you don't fill out the survey. Most of the doctors who I interview don't fill out the survey. Because they're too long. So what they're usually saying, one of my learning lessons was patient experience actually equals patient complaints. So either what ends up happening is that patients are complaining, and it's the only time they're filling out surveys that they're really at. And the rest of the time, no one's filling them out, even the people actually deliver the care.
So you believe, or there's data that support that by having the emojis, it's easier for the discharged patient to immediately just say I'm happy or unhappy, and then you will crunch all that data and will turn it into a quality survey, and then the CMO will use it for analysis.
Yes, ma'am. Very, very simple.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Andrew Sutt, and I'll be speaking on behalf of my compadres here, Sam Hammerman and Dylan Nguyen, as well as Sabrish Kumar, some absolute rock stars. So in 2013, Riverside or California government approved homeowners to sell food out of their homes from a government approved list, leading to the creation of cottage food organization operations, otherwise known as CFOs. And in 2019, Riverside County, alongside Santa Barbara County, Orange County, and Alameda County, just to name a few, approved homeowners to sell food out of their restaurant as a normal restaurant would, leading to the creation of micro enterprise home kitchen operations, otherwise known as MICOs. And because the industry is so new and little experimentation has been done, these restaurant owners or home kitchen chefs have been experiencing a subset of the problems as a normal restaurant would, being business development and exposure. And now that leads us to the question, what is ShepIt? What are we here for? And what do we do? And ShepIt is to create an online marketplace enabling home-based kitchen chefs to aid them in all their operations, reach new customers, and share culture. Now, before participating in INNOVAR, our hypotheses regarding the solutions to these home kitchen chefs remained wildly broad and unspecific. Before now conducting 16 interviews with home kitchen chefs here in Riverside, and one with the congressman tomorrow, but 16 right now. And from these interviews, we learned these lessons as listed here. And we learned 3 key insights. The first being ShepIt will provide simple business insights to these home kitchen chefs. 2 being ShepIt will semi-automate communication between kitchen chefs and their customers. And the third being ShepIt will create or focus on demand creation. We serve a 2-sided market. Our primary customer being the micro enterprise home kitchen operators, home kitchen chefs, and their customers being our end users. And as with any other ecosystem, there's influencers that can affect how we operate and how our customers operate. The most important being government agencies who can who have the power to determine the expansion or contraction of any legislation involving selling food out of the kitchen. The second being our competitors, who we are competing with to achieve our SOM. And the third being influencers such as food critics or trolls, which can shape outside perspective onto the MECO industry. Our competitive matrix lies right here. Our main competitors being Foodnum, Dish Divi, Chef, and Aperitivo, 3 of which are no longer in operation. So we are most competing with Foodnum in the sense that we are helping push already established kitchen chef operations forward without being a barrier between the kitchen chefs owners and their future customers as well. Because the industry is so new, there is fairly small amounts of data floating throughout the internet to really fine-tune some numbers. Our calculations were based off of 4 assumptions. The first being the maximum legal gross annual sales that a micro enterprise home kitchen operation or a CFO were able to make. The second being that there are 3,033 counties in the United States. The third being that there are approximately 250 home kitchen operations per county, and that Sheffield will charge 10% monthly. The kitchen chef 10% monthly. Here's our proposed milestones for our future business. The first being Q2 2023, in which we'll focus on brand awareness and onboarding customers through a landing page and just building out the small steps into our marketing strategy. The second being the most important, which is going to be actually onboarding users with our product, which is going to be the first iteration of our MVP, which will strictly house the most basic features, simply for locating and finding kitchen operations here in Riverside. Third, our MVP test is where we'll see the most chef it come alive, in that we will enable chat rooms, geolocations, push notifications, and post uploading. Thirdly, from then on, we will be looking to find funding, hire, onboard new teammates, and expand from there. Our business model, Chefit will provide kitchen chef operators with business development, avoid the risk of starting a restaurant, as well as make money doing their passion, cooking, and share culture with the community. Our customer segment being the established home-based chefs. Thank you for your time.
That you went over a minute and 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, so please, Mark.
Yes.
Great presentation for starters, but I think I know where the saboteurs are gonna go after you first, has to do with regulatory affairs. You know, there's a reason why they strive to have that big blue A in front of their restaurant. So where does regulation come into play relative to quality control, safety, cleanliness, and so forth?
Yeah, so actually, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay, so here in Riverside, the county of Riverside actually departed their own separate department to look after all these home kitchen operations. So every year you're gonna have to reapply for a license. You're gonna have food inspectors come to your house to check on how clean your home kitchen is and how you're building all this food. Homeowners actually have to report new additions to their menu to the government, as well as any financial data and revenue for taxes and collecting purposes on their end and so forth. And as of now, MECOs have been legalized in Riverside County since 2019. And since then, there have been no cases of foodborne illness at all whatsoever. So,
Terrific.
of course, yes.
So on your competitive matrix slide, you said 3 of the 4 competitors are out of business, so really your only competition is Foodnum. It wasn't quite clear, like, you know, why Sheffield versus Foodnum? Like, what would you say? I see the check marks, but like, why would someone go to you instead of Foodnum?
Okay, yeah, so that's a great question, actually. So one thing I would say differentiates us immediately is how we plan on building our financial model. So as we have ordered from Foodno multiple times, and every single time there's a transaction fee that Foodno charges between the customer and the home kitchen chef operator. And while on top of that, also charging the kitchen chef X amount of percent a month to use their application. And we plan on taking that percentage down and raising it on the back end so that there reduces the friction between the customer and the chef.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. My name is William. I'm the founder of RoadSentinelAi, which is a streaming subscription-based service that streams real-time precise code data, driving data from our roadside sensors to our users' vehicles, enabling enhancing any level of self-driving vehicles. Our customers are daily commuters in highly trafficked regions who want to improve their safety, desire to reduce stress, and want to increase productivity on their daily commute. For those of you who are first time seeing our slide, RoadSentinelAi is a unique smart city technology that enhances advanced driver assistance systems known as ADAS by combining roadside sensors and artificial intelligence and machine learning, which greatly increases the level of safety and trust for smart vehicles of today. We learned a lot from our customer discovery, and the hypothesis that we tested was drivers who are daily commuters will subscribe to our services if the ride is safer by 50%, less stress by 75%, and more productive by 20% on their during their trip. So you can see our learnings, but from that we learned 3 major insights. The first major insight is that any of the criteria can stand alone within our hypothesis, can stand alone as a reason for adoption. Number 2 is that commuters have the same level, commuters already have some level of self-driving technology within their vehicles. However, they choose not to use it because they are stating that the technology, the current technology, is erratic and unpredictable. And finally, trust is the biggest hurdle to overcome. These insights give us a better understanding of our customers and their motivation to subscribe to our services. We have several customers, and just to clarify that we have customers within the vehicle manufacturing industry and also within government agencies and many others. However, for this class, we are focusing strictly on the commuter. They are the decision makers. They are the ultimate decision makers. They are the users and as well as the economic buyers of our product. So how big is our potential market? So we took the numbers from all the vehicles in the US with advanced driver assistance systems. And then for our SAM, we take the drivers or the vehicles with ADAS within the California market. And then finally, our SOM is taking into account vehicles that are within the 91 freeway corridor in Orange County. This would generate about a $45 million annual revenue, assuming a 25% penetration, and which is a healthy market to be in. And however, we do have competition. And what makes us stand out from our competition is that we offer greater cost savings, which lowers the entry point into self-driving. And our technology provides a higher degree of safety than our competitors. And we offer the greatest range when it comes to field of vision. And unlike any of our competitors, our method of protection is actually proactive. Moving on to our commercialization plan. In 2023, we want to submit a full proposal to the NSF and complete the development of our MVP, then demo our MVP to investors. At the same time, get approvals to start a pilot program in the city and go live with the pilot program in 2024. And by 2025, we should go live on a major highway like the 91 freeway. For our business, our customers are commuters who are in highly trafficked regions. And our customers will enjoy the benefits of being safer, traveling in comfort, and being more productive. So our next step is full speed ahead. And that concludes my presentation.
Questions, comments?
One of your insights gained was that these drivers don't trust the technology of their cars. Does your RoadSentinelAi address that? Does it increase the level of trust, or is that really, that's a separate issue altogether?
Well, that's a great question, and I think that our technology will prove it to the drivers.
So you would increase trust if they had that as well as.
Yeah.
the
That's
driver.
our main, one of our biggest goals is to make sure that people trust our technology, because currently, no, even though they're paying thousands of dollars for it, like on the Tesla, $10,000, they're still not utilizing it as much.
And for the song, 305,000 commuters, and you mentioned 25% market penetration. 25% of drivers with the advanced driver assistance system, or all vehicles?
Just with advanced driver.
Okay, thank you.
The follow on that question is, how are you gonna gain that trust of the customer?
By our demos, we'll definitely show how our vehicles actually perform within the real conditions, road conditions.
And it works with any cars that already have the
Yes,
ADAS.
we're basically enhancing it, yes. Yes.
One number in your presentation jumped out at me, and that is the 40-fold improvement in the field of vision.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about why that's relevant.
Okay, so that's relevant because the current systems within our vehicles, that Teslas and Waymo and all those current technologies with self-driving capabilities, they only have it within the vehicle, and their line of sight is, or the distance that they can see or predict ahead is only 250 meters. Ours is an infrastructure base, which gives the user 2 miles and beyond to see what's up ahead and to plan ahead.
Only if there's time.
Sure.
Okay, just a quick one. So William, I realize we instructors and mentors want you to quantify your VPs. But I want to make certain, how exactly are you going to capture those metrics? I mean, these are pretty tough quantification challenges that you're facing. Reduction in stress, increase in productivity. You're going to get challenged on those, you know, if you want to compete against others. How exactly are you going to come up with a reliable, evidence-based measurement of a reduction in stress?
Yes.
And so forth.
So we plan to work with Medi-Mo-GIS and their team, give us a happy face.
Strategic partnership.
Yeah. But actually, no, a lot of the evidence that we can provide is anecdotal, especially when it comes to like how we feel after they have been on a trip. Like one of our customers that we interviewed, she mentioned that she was on a road trip with her friend and she had her self-driving capabilities on, but they just realized like, hey, we're already here. So anecdotal matter.
Steve.
Yeah, I know you made it sort of adjustment. Strategic partnering is critical for startups. So if you can find other technology companies that have complementary technologies, that's usually a terrific way to go. And you almost bundle together and have increase your throw rate.
Yeah, we'd love to partner with manufacturers, vehicle manufacturers, and start adding this technology into their vehicles.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan. This is Nell. And today we're here to talk to you about NanoTher.
NanoTher is an inhaled nanoparticle solution that increases the efficacy of antibiotics targeting bacterial lung infections. In the case of pneumonia, NanoTher would reduce the recovery time by 60%, as well as surmount up to $100,000 in cost savings for hospital care. Now, it's important to mention that NanoTher can be applied to other illnesses beyond pneumonia, like cystic fibrosis. However, for our initial market study, we're only focusing on pneumonia, as it affects over 900,000 people per year in the US.
So throughout the program, we've interviewed several pulmonologists and pharmacists. Some of the things that we learned were that the hospitals are paid per diagnosis and not per time care given to the patient. This is significant because NanoTher is able to reduce inpatient treatment time, allowing hospitals to make more diagnosis and generate more revenue over time. So one of the most fundamental questions that we asked to our interviewees is that whether a reduction in treatment time by 10%, which equates to almost half a day, would be significant enough for them to incorporate a new product into their treatment plan. And we've seen that 10% is a very significant reduction. So NanoTher is able to overachieve this by 6 times, as it reduces the treatment time by almost 60%, which can amount to around $100,000 saved per patient. All right, so here's our ecosystem map. NanoTher will partner with nanoparticle manufacturer and the nebulizer company to develop its product. And upon getting approved by the FDA, it will then be presented to the purchaser, the pharmacy, hospital, and who are influenced by the pulmonologists. Pulmonologists are the ultimate decision makers who decide if our product will be given to the patient or if the competitor will be given to the patient, which in this case are the oxygen ventilators, who are already approved by the FDA.
So in terms of our market size, our total available market would be 11.74 million. That would be the market for global antibiotics and respiratory diseases. And our serviceable available market would be that, but in the US. And in the US, it's roughly 3.11 billion. And then our serviceable attainable market would be 45 million. And that would be the amount of the cost for antibiotics that treat bacterial pneumonia in the US times the number of people that are affected by pneumonia per year, which is 900,000. In terms of competition, NanoTher excels as it reduces the inpatient time significantly, which cuts down on costs in hospital care, as well as it's cheap to begin with compared to other options like ventilators. While other options like ventilators would require patients to be hospitalized for possibly weeks on end, it's a non-invasive treatment option available for these types of illnesses. In terms of our timeline for development, currently we're ready to start developing a prototype, and then by 2024 we hope to validate our prototype in some animal trials. 2025 we hope to acquire a partner, and 2027 we hope to use that partner and work with them to come up with a final product design. By 2030 we hope to have FDA approval and then ultimately start selling. And in terms of our business model canvas, customers would be pulmonologists, and some of the values that we bring to these pulmonologists is the reduction in treatment time by 10%, as well as a lower amount of hospital care, lower costs of hospital care, both of which pulmonologists would be very grateful for. In terms of next steps, we're aiming for grant funding, as well as we're trying to patent some of the research that we've done so far. Additionally, we'd like to collaborate with other chemists and other engineers in toxicology to further our research and ultimately complete our R&D and build our products. That's our slide. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
So tell me, what is your intellectual property?
So as of right now, our intellectual property is the nanoparticles that we come up. We've noticed that they do a certain, they have a certain attribute. I don't want to spill too much secrets, but there is a specific attribute that they attain that allows them to be successful in breaking down some of the structures that are caused during infection, bacterial infection.
So I was just searching the web. There is the nanocarrier for delivery of antibiotics is not new. So what you're saying is that what is new is this nanoparticle that will act as a carrier.
Not a carrier, as the device, as the drug.
Oh, so the drug itself is the the NanoTher.
Yes, and
And what kind of experimental data do you have so far?
we've been doing research regarding this topic for the past 2 years, and I believe we're almost to a publication soon.
So have you found that, information disclosure with Brian?
I am working on completing that right now.
To publish before?
Yeah.
Other questions?
Did I read it right? It enhances antibiotics, so you still need antibiotics, or does this replace antibiotics?
It enhances, so they're not necessarily competitors, they're more of a partner in a way. We can make antibiotics that would normally seem irrelevant to treating bacterial pneumonia or other bacterial lung infections relevant, and bring them into the picture and simplify treatment plans for patients with them through our product.
So in the TAM, SAM, and SOM slide, when you're looking at $50 per patient, they're still gonna need to spend some money on antibiotics, and then in addition with this technology, so they gotta be married up. It's not a complete replacement, is that?
Yes, it's not a complete replacement, but the idea is we're able to undercomplicate or simplify rather the treatment options available for the patients. So they're able to get treated easier with something that's more reliable.
Then to really go directly to a pulmonologist rather than to partner with a pharmaceutical company that is developing this type of drug.
Well, we intend to partner with a nebulizer company as well as an antibiotic company in the long run.
Have you, why didn't you talk to them as part of this program just to see what?
Well, as part of this program, we wanted to see whether or not our product is even needed in the field. And we've seen that, yes, it seems as though all of the pulmonologists would be thrilled to see a reduction in treatment time, and that's something that our product offers. So that was what we focused our interviews on. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So that completes the presentations. Congratulations, everyone. You're through with it. And now we're going to invite David Pearson to come up and talk about the next step for a few minutes. And the judges are going to meet maybe in the corner there and go outside for a minute, and we'll be right back.